Hi, I'm Cecil McNeil, a writer filmmaker. Welcome back to my vlog. So recently, I'm talking December last year, I published two books. A Requiem of Loss and Dreams, a collection of poetry, and a children's book titled The Breath. So today, I would share with you A Requiem of Loss and Dreams. So A Requiem of Loss and Dreams is my first poetry collection, and I'll give you a brief summary about it. Each poem in the book is a different genre. Yes, poetry has genre. So the book reads like a mini textbook whereby at the end of each poem, there will be an excerpt at the end, a little appendix to briefly explain the genre of the poem, how to write one, just the quick breakdown of it, so that in case you want to write one of your own. I've been writing poetry since the age of 14 and writing professionally since university, but this is my first collection. Some of the poems go way back to my teenagehood, but a lot of them were written in recent times. So a requiem means an anthem, and so this book is like an anthem or a cry for loss, like not just physical loss, although I've lost a lot of close people to me in recent times, through death or otherwise. But then loss can symbolize anything. So it's just loss of anything that essentially I have in the last few years. And then, of course, dreams. So whatever I hope to achieve in the future, whatever I'm still yet to achieve, I think that's what the book just encompasses. So quickly, I'll share with you the introduction of the book. It says, "Dear reader, this book is a reintroduction into poetry, both for the lovers of poetry and for those new to the art form. Poetry is a very underrated and misunderstood art form. Some say it's dead, but I'm here to tell you that poetry is very much alive. It just needs more comprehension. And I'm here to do just that. Poetry has a number of prominent misconceptions. 1. All poems must rhyme. No, absolutely not. All poems must have some sort of rhythm. That is very important. And these vary depending on the genre of poetry. Yes, once again, poetry does have genre. A lot of people don't know that. 2, misconception number 2. All poems are free verse. At least that's how most contemporary poets write these days, without studying or taking into consideration the different poetic forms and structures out there. 3. All poems must look and sound like a poem, whatever that means. Poetry is the most dynamic and diverse of the literary devices. There is still so much left to uncover about the art form. And 4, poetry is hard to understand. No. While some poems can be complicated and the reader might have no idea what the subject matter pertains to, poetry can also be simple and straightforward and can be written about anything. This book isn't just informative. It also draws you into the world of poetry with more understanding of it, if you didn't have that before. In this book, you will not just be entertained, but moved. You will also come away having learned all the basic structures of some of the more popular forms of poetry, and hopefully your emotions would have been evoked enough and you'll be inspired to write your very own poems. So poetry can be many things, and I'll share with you 3 quick poems from different genres. So the first one we'll start with is something fun. It's called a limerick. So a limerick is simply a 5-line poem with a strict AABBA rhyme scheme. And all that means, anytime you see any A's or B's or C's, all it means is A's, the A lines, the end, the very last word or syllable of the line should rhyme with, so all the A's should rhyme A's, B's, C's, whatever the alphabet is, that's all that means. So yeah, and it has a distinct rhythm. Limericks are usually humorous and sometimes nonsensical in nature. So this one is titled Epitaph. A mother asked her promiscuous daughter, as their argument grew even hotter, "When you die, what would your epitaph read?" Without missing a beat, the daughter responded peeved. She lives just like her mother, a naturally gifted puta. And it has pictures. Puta means whore, for those of you that don't understand Spanish. Poetry can be thought-provoking, like the next poem. It's titled Portrait. And this is an ekphrastic poem. An ekphrastic poem is a poem that vividly describes or responds to a work of visual art, such as a painting, a photograph, or a sculpture. In such a poem, the poet is clearly and distinctly moved by the piece, so much so that they seek to interpret the work or further understand it. So this one is called Portrait. My mother dismissed it with a glance. Ugly. A poor painting, she said. For a moment, I believed her. He looked like an ugly Greek god, too bulky to be sitting down cross-legged as he was, wearing nothing but a strip of cloth draped over his left arm. Was he blind? His right eye was turned askance, his left eye dulled by the distance he seemed to peer into. I stared hard at him, dumbfounded, and could not contain my tears. I gathered from him a deep black depression, years spent in misery, in dire need of a companion perhaps, a lover maybe, a human being. What had scarred him so? What made me want to wail in agony, his agony? I longed to know the man in the frame, or at least the man who stroked his brush to make this masterpiece. This portrait, the memory of the man, has seared itself deep into my memory. It has been a constant companion as the years roll away. I cannot understand the emotional connection I have to it. My conclusion? Perhaps my holding him dear will somehow alleviate his pain. Poetry in a nutshell is a way to bare your soul. This next poem is an example of that. It's titled Two Becoming One Flesh, and this is a blank verse. A blank verse is a type of poem that is unrhymed but has a constant rhythm, and it follows a specific meter, most commonly iambic pentameter. And in the book, I break down what meter means, and rhythm, and rhyme, and structure, and verse, and all that stuff. One more reason to purchase it. So two becoming one flesh. I witnessed two flies mating yesterday, unabashed, unashamed of the ritual. I have seen the cockerel vehemently chasing the hen until he catches her, pins her down, and scatters her feathers awry, as is in their nature to do. The female house cat, nicknamed the pussycat, holds firmly in place and screeches out loud, eyes wide, fangs bared, claws out, howling in pain. Even the mighty lions use teeth and claws to consummate their 3-day mating ritual, roaring ferociously as he climaxes. That is the norm throughout nature. When the plum flowers need pollinating, the sturdy bee is at the ready. The flowers don't ask. Nature needn't beseech. But yet it is not that way with humans. You can spend your entire life pining, burning from lack of satisfaction. You can experience loneliness, lovelessness, and even rejection from the very person you love the most, who swore to love you whatever the cost, no matter what. Now they are repelled by your very touch, aloof and uncaring about your needs, feelings, wants, desires, and self-esteem, leaving you to burn with all your passions alone. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed that. There's a lot more where that came from, so I hope you would support me and purchase the book. I promise you, your reading life will never be the same. Poetry is just simply misunderstood, but I'm here to give a little bit of clarity for those of you that don't get it. And entertain you as well, that's more important. So check out the book. It's titled A Requiem of Loss and Dreams, and it's on my website. You can purchase it from there, or DM me and I'll get you a copy. So let me know. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Bye.